welcome to the Abyss Tarot T.A.T. Today's pick a card is going to be, what are your future descendants going to hear and think about you? Okay, since we've done ancestor readings before, it was suggested to me that why don't we do descendants, right? You're somebody's future ancestor and you're going to have descendants, and what are they going to think of you? What are they going to hear about you, right? How are they going to feel about you? Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the piles. So we are going to be choosing from the pictures up here and then also the decks we have. Okay, so for pile 1 we have the cow planter on the field. We're going to be using this deck here, pile 1. Pile 2, we're going to have the baby spider learning to make a web with this deck here, pile 2. For pile 3, we're going to have the raven on top of a tree with this deck here. And for pile number 4, we are going to have the moth on the flower at night. Okay, and we're going to be using this deck here. So go ahead, take a look at the piles. If you feel called to pick more than one pile, go right ahead. Timestamps will be down below, and I'll see you at your reading. Bye. Hi, welcome. So for those of you who chose pile number 1, this deck here and this image of the cow planter out in the field, I always like to associate the piles with an element. And so for this pile, I've associated it with earth. So it could be a Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo, okay? With the cow planter out in the field, I'm getting like your descendants are probably going to be here, that you're somebody very like nurturing and like to be out in nature. So maybe that's your thing. You like to be out in nature, you like to go out for walks, or you like to have like a garden, or you like to plant things. Like you might have a green thumb, you might be really good with with growing things. So I do have some cards pulled here for you. We're going to pull more as we go along, but with the energy here that I'm getting, like the first card of like what is like your energy, I got this card 14. Okay, breaks down to the number 5, and it's the card compass. And it's very interesting because she's like a fairy. Look at her, she's like a fairy. And the first card that had came out was air element. Look at that, air element, communicating, 39. Okay, then the next card that came out was card 48, poised, and it's another fairy. Look at that. So they might, yeah, so I definitely do get the feeling like they might say that you're somebody that, maybe you connect with the fae. Again, maybe you like to be out in nature. You like to be out with working with the elemental spirits. I am feeling like your descendants are going to hear and think that you're somebody very different, almost like not on the same path as everybody else, like in your family, and not like the black sheep really, but something like that. It's kind of like just marching to the beat of your own drum is what I'm getting. Just something different here. And here with observer too, next to the poised card, again, it's like he has this telescope and he's looking up. So I feel like you are somebody that likes discovery and you like looking up, he's looking up at the moon. So again, I feel like they're going to hear that you're somebody that says communicating, somebody that connected with the air, with the air element or the air spirits, also with the earth spirits, with the elementals. So I also feel like these descendants are going to maybe want to talk to you or work with you when they need some type of guidance and some type of help is what I'm hearing here. Okay, we do have the card number 6 that says support, and he has that life thing around him, right? And he has his little floaties so he doesn't drown. So that's what I feel here. It's like they're going to want to communicate with you because they're going to feel like you can support them. You can offer them some type of support in whatever they're going through in their life. And that is card number 6. We have 51 here, which also breaks down to another 6, and this card is wisdom. So again, I feel like they're going to feel like they can reach out to you when they need support because you have the wisdom. It's almost like they're going to hear that you've done all these things or gone through experiences, a lot of good and a lot of bad, right? You've gone through like a lot of experiences and challenges, but it was who you were meant to be. It was like what made you who you were. And you didn't let it stop you. So I feel like if they're going through challenging times, they're going to want to reach to you and be like, oh, pile 1 ancestor, what do I do in this situation? Because I know you've gone through something similar. So I get that feeling here. We do have childhood. What number is this? 5, changes, choices, and challenges with innocence. So here with childhood and innocence, I feel like, yeah, they're going to hear that there was just a lot of things that maybe you went through. Like I said, maybe a lot of experiences, some good, some bad, right? Throughout your life. And it could have started in childhood where you had a lot of difficulties. We have these children like out in the woods, but they're looking towards the light coming in. And I do feel that with you too, that again, it's kind of like you're not the black sheep really, but you kind of are, but in a way you're not, because you have a lot of light. You carry a lot of light with you. Okay, and we do have the shine card here, which I want to read about the shine card right now. But you also got the backstory card number 8. Look at that. You got the backstory card. So again, it's like these descendants are going to hear a lot about your life story, a lot of good, a lot of bad, right? They're all good, bad, and in between, everything about it. There's going to be a lot, what they're going to see is like a lot of wisdom from you and a lot of experiences. And you basically doing what you felt was on your path. So again, you didn't do things, or you don't do things the way everybody else maybe in your family does. You don't do things like them. Maybe you haven't, done the traditional things that they normally do. You've gone like in your own path and your own thing. And again, it's because you feel like that's what you're here to do. I also feel a lot of like spirituality here, a lot of like witchy stuff here from you. So I think that's another thing that might not be like the rest of your family. And this is something that this descendant is going to be aware of. They're going to be like, my Pio 1 ancestor, they knew a lot. They went through a lot of experiences, and they also had a connection with like spirit, and again, like with the fairies, with the fae, with the elementals, with the air, with the air spirits. Like, you know what I mean? They're gonna know like you definitely had some deeper connection than the rest of your family. So it's like they're gonna want to come to you for some type of assistance when they're going through similar issues that they've heard in this backstory here that you've gone through. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and read the shine card 58, and then we'll pull some of the tarot. 58. Okay, here it is. So we have 58, shine. When this card validates a loved one or a person, you'll know them instantly by the bliss they engender. Warm and light-hearted, like a magpie. You're attracted to their inner bling. They're a beacon, a signal in the darkness that steers you back home or even when needed. See, yeah, like I said, you're like a light, because here in childhood, these kids are looking at the light. And so it's like they're going to know that even though you went through maybe some darkness, there was a lot of light in you. So they're going to know you're like that light. You're that light being. You're that, spirit of light. Like they're going to know you're the one that can help them. Okay, so let's continue. Where was I? Okay, they're a beacon signal in the darkness that steers you back home or even when needed, illuminates potential hazards. It's not that their life was any easier than others. In fact, sometimes it was the opposite. Yeah, exactly. Rather, it's how the radiant soul remembers to love that gives them that shine. Understand, this is a soul, also a spirit magnet. What consciousness wouldn't want to bask in their aura. Yeah, so I definitely do feel like you're the one that they're going to go to, because they're going to know you're the one carrying that light. If you receive shine, this oracle reminds you that your choices, thoughts, and actions and behavior generate energy, which in then turns and creates a vibration, a frequency. One energy can seed another. For example, if your self esteem is scraping the bottom of the barrel, that becomes ideal territory for a lower vibrational energy such as jealousy. This all communicated in your luminous body or aura, which is an energy expression of your state of being. Simply put, when you feed good, you shine positive, upward, spiraling emotion and high vibration. They include love, self love, joy, acceptance, happiness, serenity, peace, freedom, faith, objectivity, forgiveness, courage, patience, and awe. Okay? Stormy, downward spiraling emotions are low vibrations. They include anger, hatred, intolerance, overindulgence, grief, sorrow, guilt, shame, worry, depression, regret, resentment, revenge, blame, impatience, and irritability. There's also a neutral state, which is unfeeling and stuck, boredom, apathy, entitlement, and um, put into the boredom put into the gridlock. The beloved dead of Shine asks, where are you in this range? It reminds you that when doing spiritual work for yourself or others, keep your vibration as high as possible or take some time out to rebalance and heal. Not only does this affect what you are putting out and attracting in life, but also impacts any personal petitions to the universe. Additionally, imbalances and instability create cracks in your aura, okay, your armor, and leave you unprotected. Arriving at a seance after a few whiskey sours will, with indigestion and a dark storm clouds over your head, turns you into an energetic buffet for low vibrational entities. The beloved dead reminds you that the balance and well being of your luminous self are just as important as caring for your physical body. Your shine is divine. Okay. Wow. Okay. So definitely you shine, and that's what they're going to get here, because they are going to hear this backstory of basically your experiences, everything you went through, the good, the bad, like I said. But here they're going to know that there's this light. They're going to hear your descendants are going to hear that this ancestor, you, was just somebody that had to shine. No matter how bad, how dark it got, they were still able to shine and do something. And even though it was different from the normal path that everybody else had, it was still their path, and they still made it shine, right? So that's what they're going to know. And again, I feel like maybe when they're like at a crossroads or having some type of difficulty or a decision, I think that's when they're going to want to reach to you, is what I feel here. They're going to want some type of confirmation or help, or, something from you that is like showing that your wisdom is going to help them. It's going to give them support. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get some tarot. So yeah, you may be an earth sign or an air sign, since we do have earth and air here. I am getting Aquarius too, with with the shine here. That is air element. So we have him with the floaty here, and then we have the sea here with all these fish. I feel like your water descendants are going to be drawn to you. You're going to connect with the water descendants. Too many cards here. Okay. And here with her being a fairy, having like the fairy wings, and then here we have poised with the fairy, and then we have him kind of with the telescope looking out. I feel like they're going to feel like the confirmation that they connect with you and communicate with you might be through like a fairy, or um some type of like air element, like maybe a butterfly or something like that, something with wings that flies. They're going to feel like that's the confirmation that you heard them, that you're there with them. I feel like something with wings, like a little winged creature. Ooh. And look, speaking of winged creatures, this witch has a butterfly here behind her. Okay, we have the world here, completion. What is this? We have the 9 of Swords in the reverse. We have the Lovers in the reverse. We have Strength here. Oh, look at that. She's fighting. And then we have the Ace of Swords. So there's that air communication again. A lot of air here. And so, yeah, so I do feel like, again, with the world here, it's like when things are ending for them, or they're changing, or they're at a crossroads or a challenge, I do feel like this is when they're going to want to like reach out to you and be like, okay, ancestor pile number 1, help me out and give me confirmation through a butterfly, a dragonfly, a fairy symbol, something, right? Here, when they're going through some type of ending and some type of change. And here with the Strength card, it's like they're going to need your wisdom and your support, so that they continue to be in this fight, so they can continue to push through, because they know that you did it, and they're like, my ancestor did it, so I'm asking them for help so that I can do it too. Okay, and then we do have the 9 of Swords in the reverse, and again, air element, right? And so here, I like when this card is in the reverse, because to me it tells me that things are improving, things are getting better. So again, whatever difficulties, depression, challenges, because this descendant is going to hear your backstory, a lot of good, a lot of bad, and a lot of whole other things in between. And part of it is depression. So maybe when they're at a time where they're going through depression and they're going through challenges, they're going to reach out to you. And here, it being in the reverse, again, I feel like this, when they get their validation or their confirmation from you that you're there supporting them or helping them, this is when they start to feel better. And this is why the card is in the reverse, because I feel like they're going to feel a connection with you, like they're going to be able to connect. Okay, and then we have the Lovers in the reverse, Gemini energy. Like I said, we do have air element here. So this could also have to do with like relationship troubles, right? Maybe you've gone through a lot of relationship troubles. Maybe that's one thing they're going to hear about you, but you still were able to like maybe manage or pull through, or do things on your own. And so here, maybe when they're also going through similar situations, maybe relationship troubles, they're going to want to reach out to you. They're going to want to talk to you. They're going to want to connect with you for some kind of guidance. And then here we do have the Ace of Swords. Look at that. And, the Ace of Swords is communication. It is clarity. So it is that understanding. It is the communication, right? Because we do have the first card was air element, communicating. And then here we have it again, Air of Swords, which is communication. So they're going to know that they can communicate with you, They're going to know that they can reach out. And here she's like, about to cut this apple. She's going to share it with the bunny. So I do feel like they're going to give you offerings too. But again, I do feel like they are going to feel a connection with you, especially because they're going to feel like you're somebody very strong, right? And we do have the Strength card here. They're going to feel like you're somebody very strong, because you did come to live your life. Like you didn't hide away. You didn't hide in a room and not ever come out because you were afraid of the world. It's like you came out, and even if you were afraid of the world, you still came out and you lived life because you knew that's what you had to do. And it's like they have that understanding of you, like, damn, you came and you bossed up and you still kicked ass no matter what. Even you got knocked down, you got up again and you still kicked ass, you know? So I do feel like that's something they're really going to appreciate, that strength from you, and they're going to want some of that. They're going to want some of that strength, like pass them down some, you know? They're going to want you to pass them down some of that strength. Okay, let me get you one of these numerology cards, and I think that will be it. I don't want to make this reading too long. Okay. Wow, 56, relationship change. See, that's what I'm saying. Maybe when they're like relationships are ending, whether it could be romantic here with the lovers, Gemini energy, it could be romantic or it could be any type of relationship change. Like when they're at a crossroads or difficulties, you're definitely going to be the one to come to. And look, it's blue, throat chakra, air element. And that was the first card, air element, communicating, relationship change. They're going to want to talk to you about things changing for them. And with any type of relationship, they're going to be like, what do I do? Like, tell me how to boss up, tell me what, how to continue. They're going to want that help from you, that strength. And again, I feel like they're going to ask for confirmation, which to them, it's going to come in the form of like some type of winged creature, like I said, a butterfly, a dragonfly, any type of little winged insect. And we do have some here, right? We have what is this? We have a butterfly, and we have, is this a fly or some type of bug, right? We also have a spider, and we have a caterpillar here. So maybe like little bugs to them will be like a confirmation from you. Okay, but like I said, I do feel like the water signs are going to be drawn to maybe look for you more, to seek your advice later on, and then give you offerings. This little bunny here, it looks like he's praying. I don't know if you can see. This little bunny looks like he has his head down and his hands together. Looks like he's in prayer, just as she's about to cut the apple and split it with him. So I do feel like they're going to be like in meditation or prayer, connecting with you, talking to you, giving you offerings. Um, and then the bunny, right? The bunny is about abundance, Empress energy, Taurus, Libra. It is about abundance. So maybe, again, they're going to want your help and certain things. But the bunny also has to do with nervousness. Sometimes it does remind me of the Nine of Swords, and we do have the Nine of Swords here in the reverse. So I do feel like once they communicate with you, meditate, pray, offer you, give you offerings, they're going to feel better because it is in the reverse. They're going to feel like things get better for them. Look, in the upright, it's like she's being beat. This witch is being beat by this, like, he has horns, kind of looks like a little imp or something. I'm not sure, but he's like beating her with a broom, right? She's kind of like trying to shield herself. She's like putting her hands on her head so he doesn't hit her head, and it's in the reverse. So I do feel like when this person is in their head, feeling like the darkness is beating them, it's beating on them, and they're like really confused or depressed or stuck. They're going to communicate with you, and then this is how they're going to feel better. Okay, so they're definitely going to want to talk to you. Communication here, and this was the first card, communication. On the compass, we have compass here, right? So it's kind of like, the journey of life. They're going to want to reach out to you on those difficult parts of their journey here in life because you had them. Okay, well, that's all I have for you, Pi One. I hope this message resonates. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. So for those of you who chose pile number 2, this deck right here, and the image here of the baby spider building a web, I always like to associate the piles with an element. And so for this pile, I've associated it with fire. So you could be an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. Okay, or have that somewhere in your chart. I have some cards pulled here for you. We're going to pull a few more as we go along. But if you did pick the baby spider web, building its web, you're probably somebody that your descendants are probably going to hear that you were somebody that talked to everybody and their mama. That's what I feel like. They're going to hear that you were somebody that like knew a lot of people. You talked to a lot of people. And then you do have the card perception here because I wanted to see what is like the perception, what are ideas are they going to get of you, and you got the perception card. So the perception of you that they're going to have, 46 breaks down to a 10, breaks down to a 1. The perception they're going to have of you is very different. Like there's going to be a lot of different stories, I guess you can say, about you. Like there's going to be definitely that you had communication with a lot of people, but each person has their own perception, right? We all don't have the same perception. So here's how people look. She's kind of like looking with that eye. It's like, how do people see you? So your descendants are going to know that everybody saw you in a different way. Some people saw you as like the life of the party. You talk to everybody and their mama, or you could have been a little more loving with some people or a little more cold with some people. But the thing is, I definitely do feel like you were somebody that had a, they're going to say that had a big energy, that you just, you knew a lot of people basically, especially with that spider too, if you pick that spider. And fire element, right? They're very, it's like they get the attention. Definitely fire signs do get the attention in the room. And so I feel like this is what your descendants are going to hear about you, that yours, which is bringing to mind somebody that, that's crossed over from my family, and they were a Leo, and they had a big energy that just kind of took over the room, and yeah, so I'm kind of getting that here with you, that your descendants are going to hear that you're just somebody like that, kind of like a, you took over the room, your energy took over the room. um so we do have some cards pulled, and we're going to pull a few more as we go along. What are your descendants going to hear about you? What are they going to think about you? So the first card we have here is 14 breaking down to a 5 with Taurus. I have. Okay, so here with Taurus, I have, so maybe you have, they're going to hear maybe that you had like money, or you had property, or you like luxury, right? Maybe they're going to hear that you like luxury, that you like good things, because I am getting that energy here with her. I do feel like this is somebody that likes to go around the room and talk to everybody, but it's also somebody that everybody notices, even if they don't go around the room and talk to everybody. You know what I mean? So I do feel like you have that certain quality in here with I have Taurus, very beautiful. So you might be very attractive. Taurus is ruled by Venus, Venusian energy. So you might have that Venusian energy, even if you're not a Taurus, that you're just somebody very attractive. Again, you draw attention even when you don't want to, right? And I do feel like they're going to hear this about you. So you might have um descendants that want to call to you or work with you, maybe, and like I'm getting like even like beauty magic, glamour magic, or even kind of like having more confidence. I also feel like they're going to want to talk to you about like, how do I get more confidence? Or they're going to want to talk to you about like maybe helping them and accumulating more, whether it's like finances or better relationships with people or something like that. But I feel like they're going to want to reach to you when they feel they need help, like within themselves, to kind of like expand, or like, you know what I mean, kind of reach a broader group of people, kind again like with that spider, right, making that web. So they're going to want to like get help from you on how to like make themselves more, right, like show themselves more. Okay, so we do have 48 here with lunar eclipse change. And it's so interesting. We just had a lunar eclipse. We had a lunar eclipse in Pisces. So, yeah, you might be a Pisces, or one of these descendants will be a Pisces. But 43 breaking down to a 7, lunar eclipse change. So something changing here. They might again, want to reach out to you when they want something to change, or they would need help, and something that they are trying to work on, and they want change, they want to expand it. That's what I do feel like. When they want some type of expansion, they're like, I'm going to ancestor pile number 2 so they can help me. Okay, we have 38 here. Look, it's a lot of eights, right? We have 38 here with release. Okay, and this is a fall, like, the fall season. And here we have the tree, and all the fall leaves are falling off of it. So release here. So we have change and we have release. So again, I do feel like they're going to want to talk to you when they need a change and release, and they need to expand more. There's some type of like, I feel like, expansion here with them, that they want, your help with, that they're going to want your help with. Okay, and we have number 8. I said a lot of eights here, right? So 8, yeah. um 8 might be a significance to you, the number 8. Also, 8 is the number that vibrates with abundance. And again, Taurus here with I have, it could be like, I have money, right? And again, they might want to come to you like, how do I get more money? Or help me invest, or help me, how do I do this? And then we have 8 here with the tribe. Okay, so again, definitely feeling like, you're connected with them, and they're going to want to reach out to you, because we have this baby giraffe reaching out to this big giraffe here, and then you see like in the hut, there's like a face in it, like an ancestor face. So again, it's like they're going to want help from you on how they can build, on how they can expand, on how they can get more. So that's definitely what I'm feeling here. All these eights. And oh, I swear I didn't even look at the numbers. Okay, 8, growth. The number 8 again, growth. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. No way. The next card. 18. 18. Another 8 at the end. Live and learn. Okay, so we have growth, number 8, and we have live and learn, 18, breaking down to a 9. But oh my gosh, so many 8s. 8, money, right? Maybe, yeah, maybe that's the thing they're going to want help is with money. And 8 house is Scorpio's house. It is the house of transformation. So they're going to want some type of help in changing and releasing something, right? We have the lunar eclipse here. They're going to want to change something. Also, with maybe they're going to want to, because she's looking, but her eye is like covered, right? She kind of has her face covered and she's only looking with her eye. So I feel like they're also going to want you to help them to have clarity, to see things that maybe they don't see. And that's maybe, they're really going to want to ask for help, like, help me figure this out. Help me. How do I do this? Help me see like what I need to do. Help me see the picture, right? Help me. What's my, like, with my perception? Help me have clarity over this. Growth. So yeah, growth, change, and release. They're definitely going to want help from you and growing. And again, like I said, I feel like an expansion energy from you. So they're going to want, like, hey, how can I grow? How can I expand? How can I grow my business? Or how can I start? Or how can I, feel better, look better, like whatever it is they're going to want, right? Help with. And then we have live and learn. And again, it kind of goes with this card here of tribe, because they're going to know that you lived and you learned. So they're going to want to come to you and be like, can you help me with that? I know that you lived and learned. Look how he's all full of boo-boos, right? He has boo-boos everywhere from building this birdhouse. I mean, look at him. He just smashed himself up with a hammer. So they're going to know that, that whatever the difficulties are, that maybe you're the one that can help them to expand. You've lived, you've learned, and they want to grow. They want to, like, basically have the good things about you, They definitely do want help with also having good things for themselves. We have 23 breaking down to a 5 with entertainment card here. The entertainment card here is like the card of like performers, celebrities, people in the spotlight, basically. So again, this is your energy. They're going to be like, you're somebody that was in the spotlight, Again, they want to expand themselves and they're going to come to you for that. So maybe, they, like, let's say they're an actor or something like that, and they want to, they want to, like, expand, like maybe going on a TV show or being in a movie, or they want something like that. They're going to want to reach out to you and be like, can you help me, or how can I grow my portfolio, or how can I, like, network with more people? Like, they're going to want some insight from you. They're going to want to connect with you, to gain some clarity and insight on these things. But also, if it's not just, like being in an entertainment industry, they're going to want to be a little more open. Like, I feel like somebody that's a little more reserved and in their shell is going to want to maybe connect with you, because they're going to know that you're somebody that was definitely, like I said, talking to everybody and their mama. And they're going to be like, okay, how do I be a little more like that? Maybe I don't want to talk to everybody and their mama, but just how do I communicate? How do I open up a little bit more? So I do get that here. And then it is at number 23, changes, challenges, and choices. And we do have change here. So I do feel like they're going to want to talk to you, reach out to you when they want some type of change to expand and feel better about themselves. And then we have Evermore here, 24, breaking down to a 6. Okay, 6 in tarot is the Lovers, Gemini energy. And here we do have the couple getting married. Let's read the meaning on this card. Hold on. 24. Let's see what this Evermore is. Okay, so it says Evermore, quote the newlyweds, Evermore. When this card is representing a loved one, individual, or event, it's raising the significance and context of a marriage, official coupling, partnership, proposal, betrothal, or an actual wedding or honeymoon. It's also the energy of happy ever afters, and it signifies love and hope that springs eternal. This is a message from a loved one that even though they can't be there for you physically, their support and love for you is enduring. I stand beside you, behind you. We are souls entwined evermore. So interesting, because I do feel like it's kind of like with this card here, because it's like they're going to want you to stand beside them, be there by them, and help them, give them that guidance. And it might even be in relationship, right? They might even hear that, you were in a really good loving relationship or something like that, right? Or you were good at relationships, or you were good at being a matchmaker, right? And something like that. And they're going to be like, help me out here, be there with me. You're not here physically, but I'm asking for your help because I know you have this big energy and you're also able to do these things. So let me see what else. Hold on, what else did it say? I didn't finish reading it. Okay, where is it? If you're single and frustrated, trying to manifest love while asking every fortune teller when you'll meet your soulmate, the beloved dead of evermore, step forward for you. They ask you to mindfully consider your intention and your heart's desire, but most importantly, your undercurrents. What are your exact instructions to the universe? Okay, so yeah, so maybe this person was really good at like keeping their partner happy, or they had a good relationship. This person, and when I'm talking about you, I'm already talking about you, like the descendants hearing it, right? So they're gonna hear that this person, you, was probably like, yeah, really good at at being a matchmaker, a fixer upper, just really good at being happy, right? The happily ever after. Maybe you've been in a long term marriage, relationship, whatever, and it's kind of like they're gonna want to come to you for help, assistance, in whatever area this is. But they're definitely gonna want to come to you when they want change. I mean, here with the lunar eclipse change, it's really standing out to me. They're definitely gonna want to come to you when they want some type of change in their life. Okay, let's go ahead and get you some tarot. Okay. Oh, we have the Eight of Cups in the reverse, unable to walk away. So yeah, maybe again when they need to release something, right? When they need to release something to change it, to walk away, to have growth, they're going to want to come to you because it's like, help me change out of this situation, help me come out of it too, because like I said, I feel like they might even come to you when they feel like they're in their shell and they can't come out of it, so they're going to maybe reach out to you for that. And we have the Ten of Wands in the reverse. Look at that. Oh, I like this card when it is in the reverse because it's like letting go of the burdens, being able to walk away. Because if they can't walk away and they feel those burdens, they're going to reach out to you and be like, listen, help me out here. Help me, right? Live and learn, right? Here, help me live and learn. I know you did. I know you went through it. I know you lived and learned. Now help me to come out of this, right? So that I can have this evermore, happily ever after, whether it's with someone or by myself. Okay. And we have the Ace of Coins. Look at that money. Okay. So yeah, maybe they're going to want more money. And again, I feel like an expansion. When they want to expand, when they want more, when they want like this Taurus. Wow, I can't even talk with your power. When they want this like Taurus energy, of having more, here with I have, that's when they're going to want to, come talk to you. We have the Queen of Wands. Look at this. Again, like I said, maybe glamour magic, beauty spells. They're going to want to connect with you so they can also feel like, how do I feel better about myself? When I look in the mirror, how do I feel better about myself? So they're going to want to connect with you over that. The Queen of Wands is very witchy too. So they might, again, feel like you knew a lot, you had a lot of witchy knowledge, and they're just going to want to talk to you, like to feel better. Hmm. And she has long red hair, and she has long hair too, but it's to the side. So you might have long red hair or just long hair, and that's maybe something that they're going to hear about, like your beautiful hair, which is like Leo energy, right? Fire. Oh, too many. Okay, one more. Too many. Okay, we have the Ace of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, so when they needed to work on that self-love, or even finding love, I think this is when they're going to want to reach out to you. It's about working on themselves, working on their coin, working on, you know, what they're building on the outside, and then also help with what's going on with them on the inside. So they're really going to want help from you for a lot of things, okay? But I do feel like they're going to know that you're able to kind of guide them through an expansion, especially with this tribe card. I'm really feeling this card here a lot with the big giraffe and the little giraffe. I feel like this is you, the big giraffe, and they're going to be the little giraffe. They're going to want guidance from you on how to go about things, how to, you know, how to expand, how to get help, and just a lot of things for them to live and learn here while they're here on Earth. All right, all right. I was gonna say that's all I have for you, but actually, let me get you a numerology card, and then that will be it. Okay. All right. Pile 2. Wow. Spiritual career. Look at that. 78. Spiritual career. And 13. Okay. With effort. So, yeah, they might want to grow in their spiritual career too. You know, to meet a lot of people, to connect with a lot of people, to meet more people of their soul tribe, your soul tribe, to connect more, and putting in that effort to connect. And also to connect with you, putting in an effort. And, you know, this is like self love here, like being more confident, right? Because, like, we do have the Ace of Cups here in the reverse. So, again, they might need to connect with you when they want to like heal parts of themselves and love themselves more. And then here with the effort, you know, it kind of gives me the Queen of Wands, and then the Ace of Pentacles energy of having confidence and loving yourself no matter what, and no matter what you're going through, you know. Sorry if you hear that noise outside. There's a car passing by really loud. All right, well, that's all I have for you. I hope this message resonates, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, for those of you who chose pile number 3, this deck here with the raven that's on top of the tree image, I always like to associate the piles with an element. And so, for this pile, I've associated it with air. So, you could be a Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Okay. Um, Here with you picking the raven, these blackbirds are about communication. They are the middleman between the spiritual realm and the earthly realm. So I do feel like your descendants are going to think like, or feel like you're a ancestor that they can definitely communicate with. You're definitely like the one that's going to give them clarity and give them a lot of answers and insight to whatever they're wanting help with. I do feel like they're going to feel like you're the one that is going to have a lot of insight. So, but I did want to get a card on like the perception of what they were going to feel or hear, think about you. And we did get the card of 31 breaking down to a 4 with hospitality. Okay, we do have some more cards pulled here. We're going to pull a few more as we go along. But here with the card of hospitality, it does give me like water sign, like Cancer energy. You know, we know Cancer is all about like being hospitable and taking care of you, and, you know, come over, what do you need? You want to drink, you want to eat? It's something like that. So I feel like they're going to, ooh, they're going to hear something like that about you. Um, and it's interesting because we also got the entertainment card, which pile 2 just had this card, and they had it in the exact same position too. They had it right here in the same position as you do. So there might be a message for you in pile 2. But we do have the entertainment card here, 23 breaking down to a 5, changes, choices, and challenges. And the entertainment card is about like people that are entertainers, right? They're people that are in the spotlight, people that do comedy, or they're just funny, or they're, you know, just they get a lot of attention. So they're probably going to hear this about you, that you were somebody that was funny, you were very inviting, your energy, you know, here with the hospitality, I feel like an energy that's very inviting, very cool, very chill, very laid back, very like, hey, come over, let's have some drinks, let's have a good time, right? You know, this hospitality here, I feel like it does go good with the entertainment. It's like you provide good entertainment, you know. They're going to hear that you were just, you know, somebody like sociable, right? That you like to hang out with people, which does give me Libra vibes, right? Air element, we know that Libra makes friends with everybody. It is the number one like favorite sign of everyone for some reason. Libra is the number one, especially they say Libra males are the number one favorite sign of everyone. So we do have a male here. So, you know, and you did pick air element pile. So I do feel that energy of like your descendants hearing that you were basically like friends with everybody. You were loved by everybody. You were nice to everybody. You had a very inviting energy. And then we do have the home card here, 30, breaking down to a 3. And home, right? Home is where the heart is, right? And here with the home, again, it gives me Cancer vibes. It's like that hospitality card of saying like, come over, you know, come over to my house, being very inviting, being very open. So I do feel like the energy here from you is going to be like, you know, they're going to feel like you're somebody that they can reach out to this energy. You're going to be this energy, this ancestor energy of like, wanting to help, wanting to be there for them, because here with the hospitality and the home, I do feel like they're going to feel like home is a connection with you, even though you won't be there physically, but home will be the connection. Also, home here reminds me of like, reminds me, what is it? Makes me feel, gives me the feeling, I don't even know what I'm saying, gives me this feeling of like them maybe having an object of yours in their home, like, you know what I mean. It would be like, even looking at the bottles here, they'll have like one of your bottles, and they'll be like, this is a bottle from my ancestor, like this is a bottle that they used to get and pour a drink for everybody when they had company over to their home or something like that, you know what I mean. So I do feel like this will be their connection with you, having this object that belonged to you in their home. I feel like that will be their connection. We also do have 24 here, breaking down to a 6 with Pisces. It says, I believe. And again, I'm feeling air and water, like I said, I feel Cancer. And then we have Pisces. They do say that Pisces, being a fish, that they do say that the sign of Pisces drinks like a fish. So they sometimes have to be kind of careful to not overindulge. And then we do have the man here offering drinks, right? Being hospitable, but offering everybody a drink. So I do feel like maybe this is something that your descendants are going to hear, that maybe you like to indulge in a good drink, I mean, I don't know if they're going to hear like you were an alcoholic or something, but they're definitely going to. Oh my gosh! Now he fell over. Look, now he was so drunk he fell over. They're going to hear that maybe you did like to indulge and in a good drink. And then we do have to the sea, number 7 here. Again, gives me water element. So definitely a lot of water here. So I do feel like there's a lot of good that they'll hear and think about you, but then there's also some like traits that I think they're gonna be like, oh man, I hope I don't overindulge like them. You know what I mean? So even if they hear that you like to overindulge in the drink, they're gonna be like, I don't want to overindulge like that, but they do want to have these other good qualities, which was like, being very open, being very hospitable, being very inviting with your energy. And let me read on one of these cards. Should we do 31? Hospitality. Let's do 31. Okay. Let's see. Okay. 31 breaking down to a 4, and 4 is fourth house. It is Cancer's house, and then 4 is the number of stability. So again, a lot of water energy here, and like I said, Cancer energy, very inviting, right? Okay, hospitality. Cheers and salute to the beloved dead of hospitality, our spirit host with the most, and cheers to you because your ancestors are looking for this opportunity to celebrate with you. This card represents energy from the heart of kindness, generosity, and giving that makes you feel special, warm, and welcome. Yeah, so maybe even when they have, like, let's say they connect with you, and they're asking for some type of help and something, right? I feel like when the time does come that the help comes, their moments of celebration are also going to be like directed towards you, saying thank you so much, ancestor number 3, thank you so much for helping me, a salute to you, cheers to you, like this one's for you, you know what I mean? Because I do feel like they're going to feel that connection with you. So even when they have something going on that's like, to celebrate, they're going to like, celebrate you too, or include you in that. Okay, come from the cold, let me take your cold, pull up a chair, eat, drink, and be merry. Does this remind you of anyone? When this card is describing a memory, individual, or a loved one, you can almost hear the popping of corks, the whistling of a kettle, or the clinking of glasses and clanking of cutlery or plates. Okay, maybe, yeah, maybe you're also really good at cooking. There's a resonance of laughter, rousing conversation, and the tireless ticking of a clock with no hands. Okay. Hospitality could be validating someone in the business, food, drink, or events, lodging, or entertaining guests. And then we do have entertainment here. So this might be something that they'll hear about you, that you were somebody that had a restaurant or worked in a restaurant, or that you entertained people, right? You're like an entertainer. Again, being funny, just being a good time, right? Being there for people. It can also describe a dear heart with the need to feed family, friends, and strangers, and even birds. Interesting, right? It says even birds because you did pick the raven image, and this deck has a bird on the back of the card. And look, 16 breaking down to a 7 with the card freedom, bird. Look at that. So you might even feed birds, right? Maybe you feed birds at the park or out in the street, and this is something that they're going to hear about you. Like, oh man, ancestor pile three, they fed everybody and even birds. They, like, they made sure everybody was good, everybody was taken care of. Okay, even birds. This is hospitality's expression of love, a double-ended wand. When others are sated, they're happy. The financial or energetic expense of be damned. The beloved dead of hospitality says that generosity and habitually hosting the appetites of others could be a familial or cultural tradition. It can also be a tiresome pattern, and if it becomes the expectation, are you enabling or allowing others to take advantage of you? How comfortable are you when you're not producing, preparing, or serving, clearing, or cleaning? Exactly. Now sit down. Ladle yourself a hot bowl of soup and put up your kicks. So yeah, they might hear that you're somebody that, again, it's like that cancer, energy of taking care of everybody, making sure everybody eats, making sure everybody's drink, making sure everybody's happy, being in their entertainment, make sure everybody's laughing, everybody's having a good time. Everybody good? You good? Yeah. You good in my home? Right, we have the home card here. Is everybody good? Yeah. So they're going to hear this about you. They might, like I said, they might want to get help from you, connect with you when maybe they need assistance in, maybe like stopping too, is what I'm getting, because they might also be like overgivers like you, because I feel like you have an overgiving energy, and they might also be overgivers like you. So they might be like, hey, can you help me? Can you help me out here? Like, I don't want to have it too much, because like I said, even though I feel like they're going to hear a lot of good qualities about you, there's certain things that they're going to be like, oh, I don't want to be like that, like pile three. I don't want to be like my ancestor. I don't want to do those things. So maybe they don't want to overindulge in food or drink, or they don't want to overindulge in overgiving of themselves, but I do feel like they're going to connect with you, with a lot of things. And then we do have breath here and activation. And what is this wind doing? It's breathing, it's breath, it's activating something. And you did pick the air element. I can't even talk, man. I cannot even talk in this reading. 32 breaking down to a 5 with potential. And there's like all this wind in the background. There's a lot of air element here too. The forest. Yeah, and here with the forest breathe, again, it's kind of like them also needing to take a break, because that's maybe something you need to do. And maybe, they're going to be like, man, I'm just like my ancestor. I'm just like my ancestor from pile three. They didn't take a break. They couldn't catch their breath. They were always doing something, and that's how I am like them too. Now, I ask them to help me out and chill a little. And then, when I do have my celebrations and when I do have my good moments, then I'm going to celebrate them too. I'm going to cheer with them. But I just kind of want to, like tone it down a little too. So I do feel that, what is this card? Bend and be 39. Bend and be. Yeah, exactly. Just bend and be. He's like trying to bend, but at the same time meditate. So yeah, so again, this is might be your energy, and this might be their energy too, where it's like there's a lot. There's a lot going on, but at the same time it's like wanting to chill. Okay. Okay, let's get some tarot. You might like to sing too, is what I'm getting. They might hear that you like singing. So here with the entertainment, maybe you like singing, even if it's playing around just to get a laugh. Maybe that's something you like to do. We have this. Are you kidding me? And I was thinking of that. Wow. We have the Seven of Water in the reverse, and it says excess. Okay, which is Pisces energy. Excess, drinking in excess, because it's in the reverse. So this is somebody like, yeah, getting drunk, like overindulging. And again, like here, like I was saying with Pisces, with I believe here, it's like drinking like a fish, and then he has all these drinks. So I was thinking of this card of the Seven of Water, excess, overdoing it, and then here it is. It's in the reverse. So again, it's like maybe they'll want to talk to you too when they're overdoing it. They might be like, "Look, I know you overdid it. Can you help me to not go on that same path, to not overdo it myself?" So I do feel like there's certain things that they're going to be like, "Oh no, I don't want to do that." Like my ancestor pile three, but they are going to want to reach out to you for help. But also, again, it's kind of like your kindness, your silliness, your being friends with everybody, being very open. They're going to want that too. And we have the sun in the reverse, Leo energy. The sun card is the most positive card in the tarot, even when it's in the reverse. Even when it's in the reverse, it's still positive. So here with this card too, I feel like they're going to hear a lot of, oh look, there's all these birds around her. There's a hummingbird. Yeah, these are three hummingbirds. like birds. So you might also have a connection with birds, or you might have birds. Maybe they'll hear that you're somebody that had like a lot of birds or something. But anyways, back to, sorry, I'm off like going off track here. So with this card being the most positive card, even in the reverse, so I do feel like I said, they're going to hear a lot of positive things about you, but there are going to be those little things that are going to be like, oh, I don't want to do that. Like my ancestor pile 3, which again could be in the overindulging in whatever form, and then also in the fact that you overgive and don't really give time to yourself for rest, because they're going to be like, man, I came out like them, I need to take a rest, or I need to learn to say no, or I need to learn to put boundaries. So this is something they are going to want to talk to you, like reach out to you on, on help, on how to not bend, right, on how to just kind of be, just be, and not bend so much for other people. Okay, and we have the 6 of Earth here, beautiful sunflower. Okay, the 6 of Earth is the 6 of Pentacles. Card of reciprocity. It says breakthrough. Look at that. Breakthrough here. So yeah, they're definitely going to want to connect with you to have breakthroughs and things, and break through certain things, and put up boundaries too. Because again, this is the card of over giving, 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 and then somebody isn't giving that back. So this might be an issue you have, and they're going to hear about it, and they're going to be like, yeah, I'm like that too. I'm like that too. I'm like my ancestor pile 3, where I'm an overgiver, but I don't receive back. And so that's something they're going to want to connect with you and like maybe get help on, for you to help them. And because they might be like, look, I know you went through it. Can you please help me to not go through it? So I do feel like that's something where they're going to be like, please help me not go through this type of situation. Very caring, very caring. Okay, so we have the 7 of Earth in the reverse. Deception. Oh, depletion. Look at that. And these flowers. Oh, look, and there's a raven here. Look at that. There's a raven like on the image. Okay, so we have depletion. It's like, again, being worn down because you're overgiving. Because you're overgiving and they're taking and not giving in return. So it's like the flower is already dried out. These are sunflowers. And like I said, look, this beautiful sunflower here. We have all these beautiful sunflowers that you're giving and giving, and then you just end up depleted. And then here's the raven, the communication, the middleman. So they're going to ask you to step in as the middleman to help them between them and these other people or these situations. Wow. And then we have the Ace of Air in the reverse. Look at that, air element. Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. It is a feather, and it looks like, what is wrapped around it? I thought it was a snake, but it looks like it's some type of I don't know, what is that? Something type wrapped around the feather. But it is in the reverse, so yeah, they're going to want you to help them out with clarity, with how to figure things out, how to do things, because again, I feel like they're going to I feel like they inherited a lot of your qualities, and some of the qualities they're not going to want, but again, there's going to be a lot of good ones that they will celebrate you. They will say, thank you for giving me that quality, thank you for being there with me, I celebrate, I hope you celebrate with me, like, um but there are certain things that they're going to want help with, on like removing certain habits, behaviors, things like that. Okay, let's get you a numerology card. Let's get you a numerology card. Okay. Feeling a lot of Libra here too. A lot of Libra and Cancer. Okay, we have love. Look at that. Number 6, the card of love. 6 in tarot is the Lovers, Gemini, and it's love. It's blue. Communication, throat chakra, and we do have air here, but it's in the reverse. They're going to want to reach out for communication with you, love situations, and maybe love matters, or just loving themselves, right? Because it's like needing to put more focus on themselves and loving themselves, instead of like giving so much to where it's like not good for them. It depletes them, it takes from them, and people take from them. And maybe that's something you're going to help them to not allow. You're probably going to be like trying to help them put a stop to these things that they shouldn't allow. Okay. Anything else? Okay. All right. That's all I have for you. I hope this message resonates, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So for those of you who chose pile number 4, this deck here and the image here of the moth at night on top of a flower, I always like to associate the piles with an element. And so for this pile, associate it with water. So you could be Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Okay. So you picked the moth at night. So I do feel like your descendants are going to hear a lot of things about you, or almost like they're going to hear that there was still like a lot of unknown things about you. And I get the feeling here, it's almost like they're going to hear that you were a certain way, but you still hid a lot about yourself. It's almost like you wore a mask, but it wasn't like in a negative way. It was like you just didn't really share a lot about yourself or put yourself out like that, which is so interesting because you got the entertainment card. Okay, the last two piles, I think 2 and 3 had the entertainment card, and here we are with you, pile 4, also having it. 23 breaking down to a 5 entertainment. Only pile 1 didn't have this card, but all the other piles got it. And the entertainment card does talk about kind of being like in the public eye, being in the spotlight, being the center of attention, being somebody very funny, being somebody that lights up the room, that jokes a lot, that just has that flair, that spark, that personality. And I do feel like this is something your descendants are going to hear about you, that you were probably funny, you were probably really silly, you cracked a lot of jokes. Like I said, all last 3 piles have had this, so it's kind of like that same energy. But for you, I get it a little bit different, because for you, I feel like that's like an outside persona that they're going to hear. And then there's that inside persona of like, there's still so much more about our ancestor pile 4 we don't know. They were more private about their life. Maybe they did talk to everybody, but it would just be like silly nonsense things and not really get down about their true feelings and their emotions and what they were going through. So I do feel like they're going to hear that maybe you hid a lot of your emotions, your real emotions. And then we have personality here. What number is this? 48. Okay, we have 48 here with personality, and he's laughing, right? And he came out with the entertainment card. He's laughing, he's having a good time. And again, this is what they're going to hear about you. You like the good time, you like to crack jokes, you like to be around people having a good time, entertaining, right? But at the same time, I feel like behind this smile is maybe a lot of tears that you've shed privately. Like in public, you're laughing, you're having a good time with all your friends and everybody, but behind the door on the other side, it's like maybe quietly by yourself, not with anyone around, by yourself. You've cried a lot of tears. You've had a lot of heartache and a lot of struggles that you don't talk about or didn't talk about, right? Because again, we're talking in like the perspective of your descendants, what they've heard about you. So they're going to know that you also maybe had a lot of troubles, but you kept those things to yourself. So I actually, and we also have the card actually of location. This came out too. What card is this? 40, breaking down to a 4 location. And this card does talk about like, the location of like maybe connecting with you. I feel like they might connect with you. Like they might even like go to your home, like they'll be like, oh, this is where my ancestor Pyre 4 used to live when they were a kid, or this is where they spent their last years, or this is where they grew up, or whatever. So I feel like they're going to connect with you through a location. We do, have the card of location here. So maybe through a location, or maybe even an object that was at the location of where you live, you know. Like let's say they'll have like a rock, right? Like a rock from your house or something. And that's how they'll connect with you, because it's an item from the location of your time. So I think that's one way they'll connect with you. And then we also have number 1 here with the Ouija board, the planchette. So I do feel like they might even try to connect with you through a location, again, maybe the home, or through the Ouija board. So this is how they might try to reach you. This is how they might try to connect with you, through location and through this here. Okay, so I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Pile 4. Your descendants are going to be trying to get to to talk to you through this. But anyways, yeah. So let's read personality, because I'm really interested in this card here, because he's laughing, and again he's with his friends. It's all fun and games, right? But there has to be more than that. Okay, 48 personality. Personality. There are people in life who need only to walk into the room and they turn any black and white affair into brilliant technicolor. This is the experience energy of personality. Our beloved dead who sees no advantage in the blending in with the wallpaper. Maybe it's their high octane energy, or the way they make you feel light when they alight on you. What? So yeah, so again, it's kind of like they're going to hear that you're definitely not somebody that's a wallflower. They're going to be like, oh, pile 4 was always cracking jokes. They were always with their friends. They were always hanging out. They were a good time. Let's see, where was I? Okay, like you're the most important person in the universe. Of course, there are also the intent on sucking all the oxygen from a space, like the dying star. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about that. Somebody driving by with music really loud. Like the dying star that's dramatically collapsing on itself. They're just as memorable. When this card is validating a loved one, it indicates that there's something significant about their personality, the way they think, feel, or behave that factors prominently in a memory or experience. Additionally, this card opens a dialogue about inauthentic appearances, a person that's presented to others in order to be liked or accepted, or to conceal a shady agenda or intentions. Beware the smiling skull. You'll see pearly white smiles that don't light up their eyes. Beware of cloying kindness or an overcompensation of bless your heartedness before they mask their lips with with what they think you're not watching. The sad clown, on the other hand, knows that when you smile, the whole world smiles at you even though their heart sinks in shards. Wow, laughter is curative. It raises our energy, but should humor become a way of gaining acceptance or a method of self protection? Something behind this mask wants to be healed, accepted, or forgiven. Hmm. Healed, accepted, or forgiven. Very interesting. The beloved dead personality. The beloved dead personality reminds you. Where is it? That you're perfect just the way you are. Don't compare yourself to others or let others dictate your experience of life. You do you. Your soul alone has the blueprint for your best life, the brightest and most authentic expression of the gift of life. When you greet others from this space, you meet those who are kindred souls. There's somebody that hides behind the mask that wants to be healed, accepted, or forgiven. That's what I feel like they're going to hear about you. You know what? And then we have all that glitters here 16 breaking down to a 7 with all that glitters, right? All that glitters isn't gold, and there's two masks here. This card talking about the mask, right? The mask of wanting to be healed, forgiven, or accepted. Hmm. Yeah, so I do feel like they're going to hear that you were funny, you were this, you were that. But again, there was a lot about you that you didn't express, a lot about you that they didn't know, or maybe a lot about you that was hidden and that was never revealed. You'll never reveal it, or maybe it was revealed, but maybe after the fact or something like that. But this is something very interesting. There's a lot of hidden here that they're going to say from you with all that glitters. Okay, and then we have number 3 here with Mercury Mind. Okay, Mercury is Gemini's ruler, and Gemini is third house. So here we have Gemini here with the mind. Yeah, I feel like your descendants are going to hear that you're somebody that was like very smart. You were real smart. You were funny. You very witty is what I'm hearing. Witty. But again, there's a lot about you that was hidden. So I feel like they're gonna find you very interesting, almost like wanting to know your secrets or wanting to. Because I'm seeing this, So it's almost like they're gonna want to open up your secrets, or want to open up Pandora's box and know more about you. Hmm. We have family here, 30 breaking down to a 3 with belonging. Yeah, see, you being part of a family, but at the same time, see, entertainment makes me think of like family friends, but at the same time, them saying, well, we don't really know too much about Pile 4, even though they're part of our family. There's just so many secrets that they kept, or so much about themselves that they kept closed off that they didn't share with the rest of us. Then we have stone people here, 39 with vigilance. Look at that. So they're going to hear that you're somebody that was very vigilant, somebody that paid attention to your surroundings, very air element. And we do have the clouds here. The clouds are parting though. I do feel like your descendants are going to want to know more about you or more about your story. It's almost like they're going to be like, well, we have a piece of the story, but we want more. Like, can we dig more? Can we find out more? And then here with the location, I mean, he's like under the freaking table. He's under the table. I feel like they're going to search high and low to try to get more information about you. And like I said, maybe even try to communicate with you here, but maybe even through a location or have something that is a piece of like your property or something that was on that location. um feeling connected to you through the location, or through an item or items from your location. Like, that's where I feel the connection with them, connecting with you. We have forest here. Breathe. Pile 3 also had this card, so you and pile 3 have like a lot of similarities. We have the card number 1 here of abundance. Okay, so we have abundance here. And we have all these flowers flourishing here with abundance. Hmm. We have the forest. So this could be Taurus energy. We have Taurus, Sagittarius also. Hmm. Yeah, because I feel like right now you don't really like to discuss a lot of things about your personal life. Like there's a lot of things you keep to yourself. Because there's like people you meet and right away they tell you their whole life story and you're like, "What the hell? I just met you at the store 5 minutes ago." And they tell you your whole life story. There's a lot of people that, that they got no problem with it. They'll tell you every little detail about their life even if it was like bad things. And with you, I do feel like there's a reservedness in you about that. And even though you do have like friends and family, like people around, there's still a lot about you that you don't share. So I do feel like this is something that your descendants are going to learn about you. They're like, well, Pile 4 was part of the family. They had friends. They were part of the friend group. They were part of the family group. They were, they like to laugh and have a good time, hang out, chill. But there was still a lot about them we didn't know. There was still a lot about Pile 4 that was just unknown, a lot of hidden. So I feel like you're going to you're going to be try to get contacted here, okay? Hmm. And then with you picking the image of the moth at night on top of the flower, it's kind of like, again, it's the nighttime where things are hidden. We don't see things. So a lot of things about you that might be hidden that they don't see or won't know. And it's like wanting to know, right? The moth wants, he's drawn to the light. And I feel like these descendants are going to be drawn to you, drawn to your light, and just want to know about you. Here with all that glitters, right? It's like you're the gold, you're all that glitters. And they're going to want to know what else was behind the mask. What I feel like they're gonna want to know is like things that you did. They're gonna want to connect with you on like what kind of things did you do, what kind of things did you like, what did you do as work. Like they're gonna want to know all kinds of things like that about you. That's how they're gonna want to connect with you. Okay, let's get you some tarot here. Okay, and we have the Hanged Man. Look at that, burdock. So Pisces energy here with the Hanged Man, and we have the Six of Air, cattail. Okay, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, air element. So we have the Hanged Man and we have the Six of Air. Hmm. I feel like they're going to want to connect with you again through location, but also it's like some or one or some of these descendants are going to get images of you or images of who you were. And again, it's like wanting to discover those secrets, wanting to discover those things that others here right now in life don't get to know about you. Huh. You might have descendants that will like live where you live, your home, or where or where you did live, but I feel like they will live in your home or somewhere where you've lived, your area, your location. We have the Hija of Fire, the California Poppy. Speaking of location, and then we have California Poppy. California might be one of the locations, and she has a crystal ball. Yeah, I feel like they are going to want to connect with you. We have the Ouija board and we have the crystal ball here. They're definitely going to want to connect with you. Woo. With the other piles, I felt like, and then we have the Chariot here, Cedar, which is water, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. With the other piles, I felt like their descendants are going to want to connect with them because they want insight and they want clarity and they want help. But with you, I feel it's like they want answers from you about you. So I feel like there's a lot of I don't know. I want to say like unresolved, but it's something like that to where it's going to like almost like gnaw at them, or they're going to want like it's just going to be like it's an itch that they gotta scratch, and they're not going to be satisfied until they scratch it to learn more about you. It's just interesting. It's almost going to be like, oh, ancestor pile 4. I don't want your help. I just want your answers. Like I just want for you to tell me about you. Huh. Oh, wow. And we have death here. Look. Scorpio energy, water element again with the marigolds. Look at that. This is the other Los Muertos. You put the candles and you put the marigolds, and then we do have the butterflies. Maybe they even might put up an altar. They might even put up an altar for you, an ancestor altar. I heard the word venerate. Venerate. Hmm. I heard the word venerate right now. So we have Pisces, we have Cancer, and we have Scorpio. We have all three water signs here. Yeah, I think your descendants aren't going to be asking for like riches and asking for, all these answers of like the answers to life and things. I think they're just going to want to connect with you, definitely connect with you, and just know more about you. That's what I'm getting. And they're going to use divination tools. They're going to use divination tools. I mean, they might pray, meditate, or whatever to connect with you, but I definitely do feel divination tools will be involved here with the crystal ball and the Ouija board. And then this man is underneath the table, like he's hiding. So they might even perform a seance, at a location too, because I'm getting like a lot of like location energy. So they might like even go to, they'll be like, let's go to the ancestors' house where they lived and let's do a seance there. You know what I mean? Something like that. Okay, what do we have here? We have curandera of air, rosemary. Look at that. Curandera of air, which is the king of swords. It's in the river with rosemary. So again, there's a lot of things you don't say, a lot of communication, that you don't give out. So they're going to want it. They're going to want these answers. They're going to be like, let's do some scrying, let's do a seance, let's do the Ouija board, let's get in contact with this ancestor so we can know what was behind the mask of all that glitters, what was behind this smile, what made them tick. Hmm, interesting. All right, let me go ahead and get you one of these numerology cards, and that will be it here for you. Pile 4. Pile 4. Leadership. Look at that. 81, breaking down to a 9. Leadership. This is second chakra. Sacral. Hmm. And it's interesting because 81 breaking down to a 9. It's interesting because I was thinking, looking at these two cards, I was getting this feeling of like them hearing about you either doing things like, how should I say this? Like either you did something wrong and you did it really wrong, or you did something right and you did it really right. You know what I mean? It was kind of like you did one or the other, or you could do both, but it was like if it was bad, it was going to be bad. If it was good, it was going to be good. Like there was no, no balance of it. It was like you were going to give it all or give nothing. Very interesting. All right, well that's all I have for you. I hope this message resonates, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.